What up, though, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Daily Upside. I'm your host, Keen Arrivals, and on this channel, we talk about sports cards and sports card investing. So if you're here for that, then you made it to the right place. I try to do these videos every day, so if you haven't already, definitely subscribe. Also, want to shout out, my other social media platforms. Hit me up on Instagram. That's where I'm going to be posting sports cards. Where I'm going to be posting some of the market cap method stuff, as well as just some everyday plays. And then, of course, on Twitter, that's probably where I am the most active. Yesterday was my birthday, and a lot of you showed me so much love. So I really appreciate that. Definitely tap in on there because I'm just giving away so many plays on Twitter. We're talking sports cards, NBA Top Shot. I mean, there's just so many gems. I try to bring them to you every day on this show, but sometimes I have to go tweet those things in real time. So definitely shoot me a follow over there. Due to yesterday being my birthday and you guys being so supportive and showing me love, I went ahead and made the market cap method half off today. So that's only going to be available to the people on this podcast who are listening. I'll leave a special link, a birthday link in the description. So if you haven't picked it up, definitely go do so. Take advantage of this half off sale. Tomorrow, I'm releasing another podcast that's going to pretty much show you why this is something that you might want to pick up because things are about to change. And I can't wait to tell you why. With that being said, today's episode is going to be pretty short because yesterday I kind of celebrated, so I didn't really get to look at any of the data of the sports cards world until this morning, but there are a few interesting things that I noticed. So right off the bat, getting into some NBA news. I was so mad the Nets lost yesterday. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw me kind of live tweeting that, and we'll talk about why they lost a little bit later. But I knew that if they lost, everybody was just going to attack Kyrie. And for those of you who have been a part of this show, yes, I'm a Kyrie fan. I've been a Kyrie fan since the Duke days. I'm not saying that he's a perfect person, so don't let that change your opinion on me. But I do really enjoy the way he plays basketball. I mean, his handles are just all time. So yeah, yesterday the Nets lost, and I don't know what was going on, but a lot of people are attacking, Kyrie. We're seeing the trade Kyrie trades. Everybody wants Harden and Durant to kind of be the big two. And it's just crazy to me how the NBA can flip so fast. I mean, just a few weeks ago, we were so anti-Harden, and now we're just like championing him. And look, if you got some Kyrie cards or if you're invested in the Nets, don't let this loss beat you up. These guys have never played before. They're hopping on a court for the first time. They're getting their chemistry in order. They're figuring out who's going to be the go-to guy. Kyrie looked amazing in the first half of that game, and so did the rest of those guys. So give them some time to figure it out. All these trade rumors and Kyrie's toxic. I think that's a little too premature, but obviously that's going to be the news everywhere. So, we've seen the Athletic. They talked about how, James Harden, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant look. And pretty much what they were saying was that they did well offensively. They just had a ton of breakdowns defensively. So they're going to have to figure that out. I mean, Kyrie isn't the best defender. James Harden is notoriously known for not playing defense 100% of the time. Though when he does plays, he can be solid. And Durant, he's just all time, all around player. But yeah, it just wasn't the greatest ending to the game. It was a great start, but it wasn't the best ending. And I really do feel confident that they're going to get it under wraps. And just of course, Colin Sexton, he just did his thing, so we can't discount him. Moving on, we also saw the Warriors play. I didn't stay up for this game, but I did see the first half, and I loved what I saw between Stephen Curry and James Wiseman. They're just kind of using him as a lob guy. They just get to the paint and they just throw it up, and he goes and gets it. And for one, I feel like that's kind of disrespectful to him because I think he is a better player, but him just being so young, that's a really great way to get him involved. And I think we're just going to see him kind of evolve from there. So right now we're seeing lobs, we're seeing him catching and dunk. And I think eventually we'll start seeing some of those post moves, some of those, 3-point shots and seeing him stretch the floor. So again, chemistry, guys. Once they get this chemistry, under wraps, then it's just going to be game over. So, I mean, if you want to watch these videos, I'll leave the link to this article as well. And you can kind of see what they're talking about in terms of, Wiseman just going up and catching those lobs. And it was just all day for him. And I think it's going to be all day for him, regardless of who he plays. Now, speaking of James Wiseman, this is something that as an investor, I'm like, man, wow, how can I take advantage of this? And this is why I like NBA Top Shot so much right now because, unlike Panini, you have to wait for these products to be produced, and NBA Top Shot can just roll them out. So he does have a rookie moment. It's going to be getting the rookie badge pretty soon. And you can see right now it's going for $140. And, you know, that's it's just been trending. People are getting these at 99. And prior to yesterday, you were able to get them for like 60, $70. So this card is 2x in a matter of a few days. And this is a cool way to make some money as a sports card investor. Is it better than sports cards? I'm not saying that, but it is an alternative, option. And they do have these rookie moments available while we're still waiting for Panini to kind of churn out some cards. Now, these moments are numbered to 3,999. And yeah, if you were able to get in these early, you definitely made a pretty penny. So that's all I have for NBA Top Shot today. I do have another video coming out, kind of just NBA Top Shot focused. I'll give you guys a heads up before that drops because I know a lot of you are interested in this platform. And I understand why. It's been a ton of fun. We've been talking about it on Clubhouse. People have been tweeting about it. And I think people are really starting to understand why this could be something. Everybody talks about, is it going to replace sports cards? No, it's going to work alongside of sports cards because, investors need options as well. And this is a great one. Now, moving into some sports cards, I figured I kind of finished this episode off just recapping the market. Sticking with the Golden State Warriors here, we saw a Stephen Curry Topps Chrome Gold Refractor sell for $167,000 yesterday. That is a new all-time high. It was a BGS 9.5, and it was a quad 9.5. So 9.5s on every sector, centering edges, corners, and surface. And this is something I've been tweeting. I wonder how much this card would have sold if it was been a PSA 10. I have this hunch or this theory that when you get to these rare cards, I don't think it matters if it's BGS, if it's PSA. I think the card just matters. And I think long term, that's going to be something that plays out. With that being said, if this card would have sold for like 350,000 for a PSA 10, then obviously I'm wrong. But I feel like all of these GOAT cards, like the exquisites, the Topps Chromes, they're all BGS because that was the play back in 2003, 2005, 2009. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to play out for BGS. It's funny how fast we moved in this space because I'm looking at this card. I'm like, man, that's kind of cheap, which is absurd because it's $167,000. But for the magnitude of the card, it's like, man, is that undervalued? So that's kind of where we're at in sports cards right now. That's a huge win. Another huge sale for kind of an older card was Anthony Davis's 2012-13 National Treasures. That one went for 24,000 via best offer. This is a card that I've been kind of talking about for quite some time. In fact, I've been talking about 2012 just overall. I think all of the cards are undervalued, especially compared to modern day cards. A Trey Young National Treasures is going to go for $50,000, but then you can get an Anthony Davis for 24,000. So there's some weird things going on here where the price doesn't make sense. And 24,000 is a new all-time high, but this was like an $8,000 card not too long ago. In fact, you can look at Kyrie again. I know a lot of you don't like him, but he's the other good example in that class. You can go pick up a Kyrie National Treasures for $4,000. It's a BGS 8.5 or a 9. It may not have the best autograph, but if you want to get into the 9.5s, I'm sure you can get one for under 10K. And that's a ton of money. Don't get me wrong, but it's relatively cheap when you compare it to Trey Young or Luca or even Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. National Treasures goes for $10,000 or something along those lines. So you can get a Kyrie for the same price, and maybe even a Kawhi for a little bit more. So it's just kind of crazy how these 2012 cards don't go for that much, and I think that's going to change. We're so into Prizm right now, and the first Prizm that why aren't we into the first Immaculate or from 2012-13 or why aren't we into National Treasures? So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, and we'll continue to watch it here on this channel. Now moving into some modern sports cards, Luca's down, guys. He's the youngest player to hit 30 triple doubles, and we're starting to see that his Prizm is still moving down. It was kind of floating at that 1800 range, then it kind of went down to like 16, 17, and now we're starting to see 1500. So we're starting to see this card move down a little bit. I mean, if you bought it a year ago, you're still like crushing it in terms of profit, but it's not that $2,000 card that it once was. And I think that's interesting. I think a lot of money's floating into vintage, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about on tomorrow's episode. It's a little more in depth for you guys, and I think it's going to kind of explain that. But even though this card is down and it's trending downwards, I do think that it has some room to move up, but that all depends on what the market decides. And let me explain that to you. So yesterday we saw this Trey Young Select PSA 10 in for $400. Now I haven't been following these cards over the last week or so, but for me that just seemed like a really high amount. I was like, man, $400 for a Select, that seems high, compared to some of the Prizm cards that are selling. And then I went into Card Ladder, And I started to kind of do a compare, and I'm like, okay, Luka is selling for like that 1,500 price point, but then boom, his select is kind of almost hitting that $1,000 price point. And then Trey Young is his last Prizm sold for 566, which is insane because they were going for $800 not too long ago. And then his last select sold for $430, or like the one we just looked at, $400. And it's like, yo, is select moving in that hard on Prizm? We're only about 30% away from passing Prizm, and that's insane to me. I don't know if it's something that's been talked about with other people in this space. We've obviously been talking about Prizm for a long time, but it looks like it's turning the curve and the flipping is going to happen. I mean, the Trey Young Prizm is 566, and then the Trey Young Select is 430. That's just not that far off. So I'm wondering, like, if is Select going to flip Prizm? I know this is crazy and kind of premature to talk about. I know these cards are still like 30% away, but it's looking like that gap is closing really, really quickly. So, kind of pay attention to that. If Select does flip Prizm, then I can see the Select cards going for a lot of money. And again, I'll talk about why a little bit in tomorrow's episode. Now, speaking of a Prizm that is doing well, that is Colin Sexton. His Prizm Silver is kind of back to that all-time high, hitting $1,000. You guys know I was hating on Colin Sexton the other day, about a week ago on the podcast, and I wasn't really hating on him. I was just saying that I don't think he's going to be a star in 10 years, which I still don't think he will be. But man, did he put on a show last night, and is he a star right now? I actually put out morning bins yesterday morning, and I'm like, hey, Colin Sexton's coming back. Said the same thing. I don't think he's going to be a household name in 10 years, but that doesn't mean that he can't dominate or be a fan favorite right now. And then I kind of alluded to the point that there's nobody playing for the Cavaliers right now. So Colin Sexton's the only person that can score. And if he gets back to where he used to be, then we should see his prices, kind of go back to that all-time high. And that's exactly what they did. I put out a buy target on the StarStock B cards for around $20. And we see today they bounced right back up to that $33 price point. So whoever got in on that, congrats. I didn't think that was going to happen that fast. You obviously can't predict 42-point nights and upset over potentially the biggest team in the East, but Colin Sexton went out there and he did it. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. For those of you who haven't joined StarStock yet, definitely do so. It's an amazing platform. It's kind of similar to what I was saying with NBA Top Shot. Like the ability to be able to go buy these things instantly and then sell them instantly. It's just a new age way of investing, and it's so much fun. I still think there's a huge space and opportunity for physical cards to move up. I think the high end stuff is going to kind of take over the physical realm. I think we're seeing it now. I think high end cards are extremely undervalued right now, but for like the low end mid tier stuff, being able to get this quick access to it, buy it, sell it, buy it, sell it. It's just the best way to invest right now, in my opinion. If you're just looking to flip, I'll say that it's the best way to flip. If you're looking to invest, definitely get your Jordans, your Birds, your Magics, hold on to them, show them off to your kids, pass them down. But if you're looking to just flip, NBA Top Shot, StarStock is a really good way to do so. If you haven't signed up for StarStock yet, definitely use my promo code Keenan Rivals. It is case sensitive, so you can find it in the description. You get $10 after you make your first deposit. So definitely take advantage of that. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. Let me know what you think about the whole Kyrie, Harden, Durant debacle. Do you think it's a chemistry thing? Do you think they just don't work well together? I know a few people in my Discord are like, I just want Harden and Durant. I don't need Kyrie. So let me know what you think about that. Also, don't forget to pick up the market cap method. It is half off today. And don't forget to join StarStock. Go ahead, make you some money. Use that promo code Keenan Rivals. Get that free $10. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Hit up the High Upside Show. Sign up for the newsletter so you can get morning bins every day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Happy investing.